Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MLG.TV arena live from Columbus, Ohio. This is the MLG CEVO Pro League Finals. This is going to be, of course, the Season 6 championships. And after 9 weeks of online competition, we are down to the final 4 teams. It's going to be an insane weekend, starting off with one of the best matches of the day. We have CLG taking on Elevate. But before we get to the match, let's set it up to our casters for the tournament format.
Thank you, Pocket. Definitely looking forward to the start of the LAN here for those CEVO Season 6 finals. I'm Helium, with me, Launders. Excited to be here.
Oh, of course, of course. Already gone through a few matches today.
Yeah, a really great best of 3 to start it off for the online portion of Season 7, but let's get into the nitty-gritty of how Season 6 finals are going to go down. So, we've got, all it is, it's 4 teams showing up here for the best teams in North America. It's going to be a double elimination bracket. Everything is going to be best of 3, except when we get to the finals. Team in the winner bracket will just have to go ahead and get 1 best of 3 to win and take home the money. Lower bracket team, coming from the bottom, going to have to get 2 best of 3s to win it. So, it leaves for a lot of action potentially on day 3.
Yeah, and if we take a look at the teams, we've got Nihilum. Our prize pool, first of all, of course, the most important thing for these teams who are competing today, first place prize is going to be $5,861, second, $2,930, third, $1,758, and everybody goes home with money. Fourth place gets $1,117 or $72.
Yeah, so the big thing there is that everyone goes home with money, which is great. It's going to help bolster, the NA scene, get some money into these organizations. And, well, speaking of those organizations, let's see who is in attendance. I know it's going to be, Nihilum. So it was the Denial roster recently getting picked up by Nihilum. So I'm really excited to see that brand, branching out from Warcraft and Hearthstone, coming into an FPS like Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And let's break down some of their players. Who do you look for on this team, Launders?
Yeah, just to look at the team as a whole, first of all, they kind of remind me of the former Netcode guys, or now CLG's roster in terms of where they're at right now and potential. And I think the aim is all there for sure. Very great players right now. Automatic is the secondly most recently picked up player who came on as an Opper, and then Sankington is the newest. Professor Chaos as well has had a lot of experience in I think local LAN tournaments in California, and there will be a lot to be said about him in his performances today. And Flowstick is a very consistent fragger. I think has done probably the best for his team over the course of the last season, and so is a player to watch, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, we'll see them in the second best of 3 today, but the team that we're going to see first, and I would say arguably the best story here, the most interesting one, is Elevate coming in. They had, it was a liege out for Desi in, and then 2 players not being able to attend, which means Hiko, the man himself, is here, obviously one of the biggest names in CS, and Skadoodle coming in. So, what do you think of this team with this talent coming on, even as stand-ins?
Yeah, so first of all, Roka came in because Storm was unable to make it to the LAN, and at first I thought, Skadoodle came in for Storm, and at first I thought, okay, that's not such a bad thing. Elevate were doing well. Obviously, they qualified after beating SKDC out for the final spot in the LAN, so they were looking hot. And then having to replace one of their team could be a recipe for disaster. But Skadoodle could fit right in. He can he can kind of do his own thing, and there's a lot of room for him to operate kind of on his own volition without having to build that kind of team chemistry with them. But once they replaced XP3 with Hiko, I got a little bit worried. The caliber of play from Hiko is obviously there, and that might make up for the chemistry that they're missing, but they're also missing a caller in XP3 and will have to probably make some sacrifices, I think, in terms of complexity on their strategies. So again, we have no idea here how that's going to turn out for them. Will the individual skill of Hiko and Skadoodle make up for the lack of chemistry that they've had with their previous 2 teammates for the whole season, or will it all fall apart?
Yeah, we'll find out soon, because they're going up against this team, Counter Logic Gaming. Arguably one of the best. They're definitely fighting for a top 3 in North America, and it's CLG. I believe now in-game leader led by Finesse.
Yeah.
Amazing op here for Peter. And I mean, what do you make it here? Is this a walk in the park for them, or are they going to really be tested by all the other teams?
No, I think this is the perfect test for this team, and I think this is a great matchup for both of them. It's going to be, I think, Elevate, who might be on the back foot starting out, not exactly sure how well their team is going to perform against a roster that's been together for so long and have come up with such great results as big upsets against Titan and Envy, obviously. Cutler is kind of that rock that you can count on to get the 20 frags a game consistently, playing support, but also just being such a solid fragger in general. Hayes is such an excellent pistol player. Tarek is also an excellent mid-round and entry fragger. And then, with FNS calling great rotates, that's how I know him from. And Peter opping and being so clutch and playing those weird positions. Like I remember in that huge comeback versus Hellraisers on LAN, he was picking up that up on CD side when they were down 14-1 on Nuke and jumping in vents and opping these really aggressive, close, hard angles to do it. And that's why he's had so much game impact, because he's not afraid to take those fights. And that's the kind of X factor I think that makes CLG as good as they are.
All right, and last but not least, we've got Luminosity Gaming. And I mean, they've got one of the bigger names in North American CS2. They've got Anger, a fantastic rifler. They've got great oppers. Flom, the main one. Frost can do it as well. And I mean, they got a sub in too, right? They've got Arya coming in for Hades.
Yeah.
Got maybe some criticism for that, maybe some praise if you're more of a fan.
Having to replace a player so close to LAN can always be a big deal. I'm sure they had their reasons, but Arya coming in has played for a long time and is going to be calling. So again, because he's calling, he's going to make such an impact on the team, and whether that's negative or positive, we will have yet to find out. But a lot of oppers on this team, even Arya himself has picked up the op. Frost, Flum, and Lex all do it. Now, Anger, the only person who doesn't really pick up the op, is one of the best riflers in the scene, is incredible, and in the previous season had some of the best stats, I think, in all of Invite, so is a definite player to watch here. And that's another strong roster, no doubt.
And let's figure out when all these fantastic matchups are going to happen. So we'll run down the schedule for you guys here for the LAN, which the Season 6 LAN is going to be mixed in a little bit with the online Season 7 placements, as we already saw just previous to this, the Existence versus Penta Esports. And then now up next for today, we've got CLG, Team Elevate at 6:30. At 8:30, it's going to be Nihilum, Luminosity. And then day 2, we'll start with more online play. The losers round 1, winners final, 5 and 7 p.m. And on Wednesday, same story, 3, 5, and 7, the online losers finals, and that grand finals, which if it goes to the 2 best of 3s, could run late. So a lot of action coming up, and I do believe pretty soon we've got some interviews, some players for the teams to be interviewed. So I believe that's back to the floor with you, Puckett.
All right, thank you guys. Down here on the floor, I got 2 fantastic gentlemen on my left. We got CLG's Peter, and to my right, we have the great Hiko. Hiko, you're playing for Elevate this weekend, and let me know, how did this all come about?
So actually, Elevate messaged me 2 weeks ago to, Storm actually couldn't come, he has work. So they asked if I minded to come. Obviously, I am free time a lot. I don't have a team right now, so I was able to drop everything. I was actually practicing with them for the last couple of weeks with XP3 is actually out of town, so we were playing with Storm, who's not here. And then last week, XP3 is like, well, I'm having visa problems, so we kind of shuffled and we managed to get Skadoodle to come with us.
Now, talk to me about Skadoodle. So he came in filling in. What is his role going to be on the team, and who is going to be making the play calls in-game? Who's the in-game leader?
So before me and Ska were on the team, it was actually XP3 was their in-game leader and their opper. So I'm going to be taking over the in-game leading, and Ska will be the opper.
All right, now, Peter, let's talk about you. You played against Elevate throughout this whole thing to get here in Columbus. Now you're playing against Hiko and Skadoodle. Does it change your strategy or the way you're going to play against Elevate coming into this tournament?
No, not at all. Not at all. We feel confident. We feel they're going to have their shots down, but not so much chemistry and team tactics. But we'll be ready. It's no problem.
Now, last time I saw you, it was at the X Games. You were looking really good early on in it, but unfortunately didn't make it out of group stages. We saw a little bit of criticism once you guys went over to Europe, mostly about the communication. What have you guys done to improve as a team over the last few months?
You know, we just keep talking to each other, be a real team, just be like, work out our problems, say this, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, all right, we'll fix it. So really just working on that, working on our CTs mostly. Our T sides we feel like are pretty strong, so really just our CTs and our communication.
Well, I have to say, I hope to see you on Dust 2 with your op once again. Hiko, looking forward to watching you here for my first time in person on a LAN event. Guys, I'll let you shake hands and head back to the booths. Guys, Elevate CLG is coming up next right here on MLG.TV.